A judge in Los Angeles has sentenced Michael Jackson's doctor to the maximum sentence of 4 years. Conrad Murray has been found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for giving the singer a lethal dose of the anaesthetic propofol.
The judge said Murray had engaged in a continuous pattern of deceit and lies. A lawyer for the Jackson family told the judge the family wasn't seeking revenge, but did want a stiff sentence as a warning to other doctors. This is what Judge Michael Pastor had to say when he handed down Conrad Murray's sentence.
The court has determined that the appropriate term is the high term of 4 years imprisonment. I do so because, once again, I find that Dr. Murray abandoned his patient who was trusting him. His patient was vulnerable under those circumstances, having been administered potentially dangerous drugs by his medical provider. Dr. Murray's course of conduct extended over a period of time. Dr. Murray repeatedly lied, engaged in deceitful misconduct, and endeavored to cover up his transgressions. He violated the trust of the medical community, of his colleagues, and of his patient. And he has absolutely no sense of remorse, absolutely no sense of fault, and is and remains dangerous.
Judge Michael Pastor there. For more, our North America correspondent Lisa Miller joins us now from Washington. Gee, Lisa, the judge really not holding back there.
Oh, he was absolutely scathing, Michael. You knew from the tone of his voice, from the words that he was using, from the length of time that he spoke to the court, you knew that at the end of it, he was going to deliver that maximum sentence, which was 4 years in jail. Now, what the defence wanted and what the prosecution wanted were miles apart, because the defence had asked for simply probation for Dr. Conrad Murray. The prosecution saying, no, 4 years in jail, and they've also asked for $100 million in restitution. That debate has been put off for another day to be discussed. But what we did hear in court, first of all, was from the Jackson family lawyer, Brian Panish. Let's have a listen to him.
There's no way to adequately describe the loss of our beloved father, son, brother, and friend. We still look each other in disbelief. Is it really possible that he is gone? As Michael's parents, we could never have imagined that we would live to witness his passing. It is simply against the natural order of things. As his brothers and sisters, we will never be able to hold, laugh, or perform again with our brother Michael. And as his children, we will grow up without a father, our best friend, our playmate, and our dad.
The Jackson family's lawyer there, the Jackson family, Lisa, would be fairly happy with the outcome. And looking at that vision there, Conrad Murray appeared fairly stony-faced while the judge was reading out that sentence.
We were trying to look at his face and think about what might have been going through his mind. There have been tears before from the doctor during the trial, but none visible today. Certainly the defence portrayed him as a broken man as they tried to argue against this jail time. One of the things I should add that the judge was amazed about, he kept harking back to that audio tape that we played on the program, that those awful sounds of Michael Jackson, a drugged Michael Jackson. And he said he couldn't believe that the doctor had recorded that on his phone. He said he kept thinking, why on earth would a doctor do that to a patient when he was at his most vulnerable? And all he could think was perhaps it was to sell it later if the two of them ever went their separate ways, or if Michael Jackson hadn't died, there was a way to use money from that audio tape. The judge was absolutely, there was no doubt about what way the judge was going to go with this decision.
Let's switch gears, Lisa, and dive into the 2012 presidential election campaign. And the trouble-plagued Republican candidate for the party's nomination, Herman Cain, is in even more strife this morning.
And this is changing hour by hour as well, Michael. I'll probably have to come back to you later because it's likely to change again. In the last 12 hours, we heard from another woman who said that while there wasn't a suggestion of sexual harassment, that Herman Cain and she, this Atlanta businesswoman, had had a 13-year affair. Herman Cain says that is absolutely not true. There was no extramarital affair. There was no sex involved. The woman says there was. Now, apparently, Herman Cain has held a telephone conference call with his staff this morning to say that he's reassessing his campaign. But now, in the last hour, we're hearing from two different sides of that campaign, Michael, who are suggesting that really the phone call was just to talk about where they're heading next with it, where they're going to be speaking, what organisations they're going to target. So very different noises coming out of the campaign. But you'd have to think this is the fifth woman, the third that's done so publicly, to suggest that perhaps Herman Cain's morals are not as he has portrayed them to be. You'd have to think that his campaign has got to be doomed, whether he gets out now or later.
It's looking good. We may just hear from you again as the program goes on. Lisa Miller in Washington, thank you.
Thanks, Michael.